I'm thinking about going to law school next year. Do you recommend it? LOL, no.
Uh-oh, the game in trouble. Started out small, now they paying me double. Yeah, you can drip chip, baby, like mustard. Yeah.
Hey y'all, it's Jordan or JorWish and welcome to or back to my channel. I'm gonna be getting ready because I literally have to go out somewhere, you know, hot girl summer, okay. But I also want to answer all your questions because I just finished my first year of law school. Now that I have a year done, maybe I know a little more than I have been so far in this journey. Before I start getting ready, I'm just gonna be putting on some perfume. This is Dossier perfume. Dossier is like an inspired by brand. They have designer quality scents without the market price. So Dossier perfumes start at $29. But you can get a designer perfume that probably they're charging way more. If you want to still smell expensive and not break the bank, I suggest going Dossier. So I'm just gonna be spraying this citrus tea. So yeah, I'll have a code down below so y'all can also save some money on that. Also, all the perfumes, they come with testers. That's like my favorite part about it, just because, you know, you're buying a perfume online and it's like, you can't really test it out online, but it comes with a tester, y'all. It comes with a tester, so you can still try it out. If you don't like it, boom, boom, boom. Okay, thank you so much, Dossier, for working with me on this video. And without further ado, I'm gonna get into y'all's questions and I need to get ready because I'm low-key rushing. Here are all the questions that you all asked me. Kind of a lot, okay, kind of a lot. Do you wish you would have taken a gap year? Yes and no. And I do have a whole video on pros and cons going to law school, so make sure you check that out. Sometimes I do kind of feel like, okay, I probably could have used a year to like make sure this is super really what I wanted to do, because I did just go straight through. But also, I'm super glad that I went straight through, because if I didn't go to law school right away, I would have wanted to travel and stuff. So I don't really think that I could have done that. So I think everything just worked out. How to find friends in DC while going to law school, juggling a social life. I was born and raised in DC, y'all, if you didn't know that. So I've actually had like my friends for forever. Love them. But it's hard to have a social life and go to law school. It's very hard. But I think at some schools it can be easier than others. Like, I think Howard is a pretty social school, so maybe that makes it a little easier. I don't know. But it's hard. And I think my biggest advice for people trying to find friends is literally to put yourself out there. Like, just ask people if they want to hang out, and don't be scared to do that, because that's what I do all the time. But it's hard, but I think you definitely need friends in law school. I was way more social spring semester than fall semester. What was your note-taking strategy? I got a lot of questions about how I take notes, how I study, how I outline, how I study for finals, and I'm gonna do a whole video on that because it's just a whole thing. So I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging. I'm literally, just keep reminding me. I'm gonna do it though. And I think in that video, I'll say like how I make my schedule and things like that, like how I study, how I manage my time and all that stuff. So stay tuned. But okay, I guess like general note-taking tips, like literally in class, how I take notes, I literally make a transcript of the lecture. I write down every single word the professor says. Not anything, you know, that pertains to the class, of course, but even sometimes I'll slip up and write something that is like the professor talking to something that doesn't relate to like the whole class. But basically in class, I take notes on everything. Is law school really as hard as people say it is? I think yes, y'all. I think law school is very hard. I see why they say it's hard, and it's hard in ways you wouldn't expect it to be sometimes. It's really like a mind game. Like, it's hard on your mind, but also it's also only as hard as you make it. As in, if you are not like a person that's like, oh my god, I have to be at the top, I have to be #1 in the class, I have to be this, I have to be that, then it probably won't be as hard for you, because you're not going to be as stressed out. You probably are still stressed out because, you know, you still got to pass, but like, you know, putting like that whole competitiveness, like it really, like that's a choice is what I'm trying to tell people. Like, it's not like you have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way for you. It doesn't have to be too terrible. It's really only as hard as you make it. So as long as you know, go in, I think, with the mindset of like whatever you want to do, just focus on you, then it probably will be better for you than the next person who's just constantly focusing on keeping up with the Joneses. That person is probably going to have a harder time. And it's not, you know, it's not always so black and white. I would say that as well. Does having to be in the top 20% in order to get big law only apply to OCIs? I did not do the OCI process, so I'm probably not too much of a help for that, but I think it will depend on your school. I'll just say I'm pretty sure I know people who are in big law and they're not the top 20% of the class. I'm pretty sure, but y'all, I really don't know, so don't quote me on that. I'm not helpful at all with like OCI stuff. When is it too early to announce your law school decision? I think too early is before you have paid your seat deposit. That's when I announced mine. Actually no. I announced that I was going to Howard when I got in. I think like the day I got in, I posted on Instagram like I'm going here. That was because like I was going to that school, period. Like no one could tell me I wasn't going to Howard. So that's why I announced it very fast. But I would say anything else, like if you have stuff up in the air, it might be too early if you haven't paid your seat deposit. I don't get told YouTube until after I paid my seat deposit, if that helps. But also post it when you're ready. It's something to brag about. Like maybe it's never too early, because even if you do have to change it, so what? Okay, so what? It doesn't matter as long as you're happy. Tips on how to be a successful law student. I actually love that y'all are coming to me for advice on how to be successful. That must mean that you all think that I am successful. Maybe, I don't know. I would say just really general advice, because I do want to do more dedicated videos, stuff like this, but general advice is to not compare yourself. And I need to take my own advice as well. Don't compare yourself to other people. Comparison is a thief of joy. Make sure you keep your eye on the big picture. Yeah, keep your eye on the big picture, because it can be really tempting to get caught up in the short-term things like the readings. I'm like so anti-read. But basically, just keep in mind that everything is on the final. I think that is like a big thing, because you don't want to burn out. You're in the long term. So I think like also just have a good balance of life. Don't dedicate your whole life to only school, because if you're anything like me, that would just drive you nuts. Like it's okay to have a good balance and always have fun and do your best. And hopefully those are the keys to success. I think I'm gonna do a video like later on, like mistakes I made my 1L year. So if you all are interested in that, comment down below. I'm thinking about going to law school next year. Do you recommend it? LOL, no. No, I don't think I really recommend going to law school. It's actually terrible. Like me and my friends say all the time, like I would not want my kids to do this. Like what? This is actually insane. Like it's actually very crazy. But if you know in your heart that all you ever want to do in life is be a lawyer, and that there's nothing else that you want to do, and you're like 100% sure, or as sure as you could be, then yeah. But I didn't go to law school because like I wanted to go to law school. I went to law school because I wanted to be a lawyer. So I was just like, shoot, I got it. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I only did this because I have to. Like I'm not really I'm not like pro this. This is actually like very hard, y'all. It's very hard. It's very trying. It's very expensive also. So just make sure you're sure. It's nothing that you can do lightly. Like it's not like, at least in college, if you're not really liking something, you can change your major. Like you can't really do that with law school, at least not 1L year with me. It's like you just have to stick it out. So keep that in mind. I don't think I would recommend this unless you like really want to be a lawyer. So, and just think about it hard, because it's hard. This is like the hardest thing I've ever had to do. How many hours of sleep did you average at different parts of the semester? I always got pretty good hours of sleep, just because I can't function. Like it's not like I can just stay up and like still be my best. Like I said earlier, it's like a long run thing. So like I wasn't trying to burn out. And even though I would have like certain things on my to-do list and it would be annoying when I couldn't finish them, I was also like, okay, but I'm not gonna be any good for class. Like it kind of just never stops. So it's like, you kind of have to just make your own boundaries. But how many hours of sleep did I get? I got at least 6 hours of sleep every night. I would say probably closer to 8. I was going to bed, let's count. I would usually be in bed by 10, try to be asleep by 11, and I was waking up at 6. So that's like 7 hours of sleep. So that was like on average 7 hours of sleep. On a bad day, I was going to bed at midnight and waking up at 5 a.m. But always, I guess, minimum 5 hours. I try to be minimum. Literally, that only happened like twice where I was only getting 5 hours of sleep though. Like that's not normal. Like I wasn't really staying up late for this mess. Would you do it all over again? And how did you learn how to outline? Would I do it all over again? No. My motivation for doing it was I only had to do it once, and that hopefully for first year 1L was the hardest, and that it gets better from here. And even though I haven't really been hearing that, I've been telling myself that to help me get through. So yeah, I wouldn't do it all over again. No, I'm glad it's over. Glad I don't have to do it all over again. But I feel like I'm way more capable than I probably thought I was. Like, I did that, period. And how did I learn how to outline? And during orientation, actually no, they did not teach us how to outline, now that I think about it. So I learned how to outline by looking at other outlines and being like, okay, so this is what an outline even is. And looking at tests. I was a very test focused person, so like if I was learning something in class but I knew it was not going to be on the test, I was not about to put that in my outline, you know, so things like that. But if you all want a whole video on like how to outline and stuff like that, I can make that too, so just let me know down below. What is one thing you wish you had done differently in terms of studying? I really think I had a solid study strategy for one, but I'm trying to think what something I wish I had done differently. I don't know, not to sound like annoying or anything, but I really think like what I did worked, and I don't think I would change it too much. And like my honest answer is I would not change anything. Let me think. If anything, I probably could have read more. Like the classes that I didn't get, which I did fine and everything, but like the classes so far, I haven't got my grades back, by the way, for second semester, but from first semester, the class that I didn't do the best in was the class that I didn't read the most in. But so yeah, but honestly, I don't even think I had the mental capacity to keep up with reading all that stuff. But yeah, I don't think I would change too much about my study strategy, honestly. I went in with the game plan and stuck to it. Do you regret choosing Howard Law? So many people ask, do you regret choosing Howard? Are you still happy you chose Howard? No, I don't regret choosing Howard. I really, even though I complain about law school, I couldn't see myself doing law school anywhere else. God worked it out because I really think I would be miserable, even more miserable somewhere else. I love Howard Law so far, so good. I will say I don't think the school is for everyone, but it's for me. It works for me so far, so good. So yeah, I think I made the right decision. What about y'all? Do y'all think I did? I mean, I literally have never gone to a classroom at Howard Law, so Howard University School of Law, that long ass name. But I have never gone into the classroom. Everything has been on Zoom, but so far I think that I made the right decision. What do you think the best part about choosing Howard is? I think the best part is the community and just being around so many intelligent Black people, because it's like a little utopia. It's like a little oasis, and it's crazy to think that it's not the normal everywhere else to be around a bunch of Black people. In law school, you know, we're all about to be a bunch of bomb Black attorneys. Like, it's crazy to think the whole legal field is only like 2% Black, I think. Not more than 5. So it's like, okay, so basically we're like all the Black lawyers basically, and then little specks of Black people across other schools, but most of them are probably from Howard, so I think Harvard. But that's the best part, being around Black people. What class was the hardest and what was the easiest? I think my easiest class was torts. Very mechanical, very much if you know the rule, you apply the rule. That was my easiest class, I think. And it's also just not that abstract. It wasn't that abstract to me, even though someone asked, I think, oh my god, I hadn't even looked. So there's questions on Instagram, questions on YouTube. I need to make sure I look at the YouTube questions too. But someone asked, what is a tort? And I didn't know what a tort was either. So basically a tort is like something that you can't, it's like, okay, also this is not an official definition, okay, y'all? This is just me trying to explain it to you. But a tort is like something that people do that they would pay you money for. They wouldn't go to jail. So it's not a crime, like criminal, where they're like gonna go to jail or something. But it's still something they did wrong, but they would have to pay money for. So, for example, battery, like if someone hits you, assault, battery, that's a tort. Negligence, like someone not doing what they were supposed to do. Like, for example, you get like I'm sorry, using this makeup brush and it starts catching on fire or something, like someone has to pay for that, like, you know, like, so stuff like that, that's a tort. So yeah, I think that was like my easiest class. The hardest classes probably property and civil procedure, but I think property is harder than civil procedure, but they're both up there. How do you juggle fun, school, and your mental health while being a 1L? It's hard. It's very hard. And I would say I try to prioritize my mental health above everything else, everything listed on that list. But it's hard. And I think what I try to do is just make sure I know when to take breaks, make sure I know when to say no. And saying no to things like saying no to school stuff, saying no to social things, like that's important to know. And that's how you can really balance stuff, when you just say no. Like that's when you cut stuff off. But also waking up early helped me balance my social life because I was done with most of my studying by the evening time, and that's when I could have fun with my friends. So that's the short answer about it. But I will have a video coming soon with like how I organize everything, and in that video I'll talk about when I had time for like social events and when I had to study and like log in. Do you still recommend law school? I answered that like, I mean, I don't think I ever really recommended law school actually, but now that you finished, do you wish you would have done anything different the summer before? And I did get a lot of questions saying how to prepare your summer before. I don't think you could really prepare too much for this, y'all. I really don't. I would say just literally turn up, like have the best summer of your life as possible. Like have so much fun, because you're not gonna be able to have like just the mental space already of just not even having anything due ever, or having to think about, you know, too much. That's gonna be already a relief, so that's good. I think another thing you can do if you really want to do something, but you really don't have to prepare, but you can just and this I'm talking like 2 or 3 days before school starts. Like you don't have to spend your whole summer doing this, but just, you know, try to know what IRAC method is, which is issue, rule, application, conclusion. Wow, try to know what that is, and then, you know, try to get your hands on some outlines. But it's really not that, like, you really don't have to do anything over the summer. I didn't do any of this stuff the summer before, honestly, and I turned out fine, so I don't think y'all really have to do anything either. But just make sure when you start law school, you're in a great mental space, you are ready to hit the ground running. You know, you want to start law school, great, so get everything else in your life figured out, you know, do all your laundry, do everything, so that once you start law school, all you have to do is focus on law school. I got a lot of questions about that gap year stuff. So, but yeah, sometimes I do, I'm not gonna lie though, I really do sometimes think, oh my gosh, I should have taken a break, because it comes when I start thinking about the future, not the now, as in like, I really think like now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm glad I went straight through to law school, because we're in a pandemic and my gap year probably would have sucked anyways. If I took one, I wouldn't be able to like travel the world and stuff. But sometimes I have moments where I just get really deep in my thoughts and my feels, and I'm like, wow, I'm never gonna have a free summer again. Like these next few summers, it's either gonna be, I'm gonna be working, I'm gonna be studying for the bar, and then I'm gonna be in the workforce. And when you're in the workforce, you don't get any summer vacation. So literally, my last summer vacation is gone. Like I'm never gonna have a free summer ever again. So when I start thinking like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I should have taken a gap year to have a bit more of my time. Like my youth is gone. Like what is, I'm working, I'm gonna be in the workforce now. So if you're like that, then yeah, but I mean, I still would end up in law school. Like that's, you know, weigh your pros and cons. It's different for every person, but for me so far, I don't regret going straight through. Can you discuss law school rankings / grades? Also resources for 1Ls. I'm not sure what you mean, like discuss law school rankings. Okay, so yeah, rankings and grades. I'm just not sure what you mean by that. I mean, I didn't choose my law school based on ranking, if that's anything to do with that. And then grades in law school, I mean, they can be as important as you make them. So yeah, it's a personal thing on how much pressure you want to put on grades. If you had to do it all over again, would you still choose Howard? Right now, yes. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I have beef with the school sometimes. I mean, I think that's normal for people to get annoyed at their school, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm really glad I chose Howard, and I couldn't see myself anywhere else. So yeah, I think I would still choose Howard again. I heard you shouldn't get a job when in law school. Is that true? Yeah, don't get a job 1L year. People work, and I'll have a job next year during the school year, but 1L year, like, I don't think you should have a job. Although we are in a panini, how have alumni / current student interactions been? It's been weird. It's been weird, but I met with current students because through like my mentor. So when you go to Howard, you get a mentor. You know, me and my mentor, we hit it off, and from her and like her friend group, and then that's like the core people that like I started hanging out with initially. So that's been my interaction, and then like on Zoom and stuff, we just have to like communicate in our own ways. So that's how we have to interact. We have group meetings, and then of course, like, you know, your smaller circle, we have group chat and like, you know, stuff like that. So that's how that interaction's been. I haven't really been interacting with too many alums, but it's definitely my own fault. Like I don't solicit them at all. Like I really don't, but they're always having events, virtual events, so people definitely do interact with alumni that way, but I personally haven't been doing that. Probably should, but I'm sorry, you can't do it all. What would you suggest in undergrad to prepare for law school? I would suggest, okay, I was a political science major in undergrad, and I thought that would help me in this class that we had to take, leg reg, and like we also have constitutional law. I don't know if it was just my school or maybe I really was not paying attention in class, even though, no, but I did well, but I don't think it did really retain for me, even though that was my whole major. I still felt like I was learning all this stuff for the first time in law school, so I don't know if there's too much in undergrad that can correlate. And also UCLA did not have a lot of, any actually law classes, so I can't speak on like if that would have helped me or not, but I didn't do that and I was still fine. So I think as long as, you know, and you're an undergrad, just do something that you want to do, because in law school you can't choose your classes your first year, so get used to choosing your classes, because I miss it. Well, I missed it, now I can choose my classes, that must do well. Okay. My strategy in undergrad was to just get the best grades possible, because, you know, build your GPA, better for your law school application. So I think that can also help you for law school, because you have a good grade. But like writing and all that, like you're gonna learn a whole new style of writing in law school. So I don't think too much in undergrad can help you. I really think I probably could have just skipped. Hopefully, like I'm like, you know, what did I even go to undergrad for? Like, could I have just gone from high school straight to law school, because it would have saved me a lot of money. Okay, pros and cons of attending Howard versus a T14. Well, I do have a video, Howard versus Harvard, so make sure you check that out. So that touches on some of it. To me, the biggest con is the grading system. The grading system at Howard is very, like, to me, it's like cutthroat. Like, you know, some classes, you'll only have like 1 to 3 people who can get an A in it. My nails are terrible right now. Yeah, you'll have 1 to 3 people who get an A in it, versus other schools, they either won't have grades, or like the lowest grade you can get is like a B-, which is not terrible. And at Howard, the lowest grade you can get is fail. Okay, you can fail a class. Like I'm talking like a D- or something, maybe an F. So that's to me the biggest con, is like the grading scale, because it's like, dang, why do we have to have this tough grading scale? So that to me is like, that's like the only thing that makes me consider not like wanting to change schools, is the grades, but I kind of got over that. But yeah, and like most T14s, like either they have a really lenient curve where like I said, the lowest you can get is a B-, and there's like way more people I think who can get A's in the class, or they don't even have grades, so it's like way less pressure on you. And that's not the case at Howard, so be prepared to work for that grade. Not that they don't work on it, but you know, it's fewer here. What are you most looking forward to as a 2L? I'm looking forward to the job I'm gonna have. I think that's gonna be cool to, like, you know, try to balance like working in school. And I'm also looking forward to being 1 step closer to being done with law school. Do you wish you would have done anything differently as a 1L? Okay, so one thing that I do will say, like, I wish I would did this differently, was like I went into law school with the mindset that I wasn't gonna have any friends, and it was just gonna be miserable, and I was gonna, you know, have no life, and I was gonna like be away from my like friends from college, and just have no social life, and just be miserable for 3 years, and then I would be fine. And I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, that for one doesn't even sound right. It doesn't sound realistic. But you know, as I talk to more people even have that mindset too. So I think I would have gone in being a bit more like open to meeting new people. But it was just like, I don't know, getting someone's first impression on the internet is kind of weird. Like in the group meets and stuff, like our little welcome group meets, like it's weird to like feel people out that way. And how I was feeling people out, I kind of was just like, yeah, I don't think I would get along with it. Like I was just so scared. Like I was just like, yeah, I don't think any of these people are gonna be like my tribe. But I was completely wrong. Like I met some incredible people, like homies, like my squad, like love them, you know? And I just was not expecting that to happen at a place like law school that people say is like so competitive and da-da-da-da. But I actually met some amazing people. Now, I don't know if it's just, if this is like Howard specific or me specific, but I think like I kind of wish I kind of went in less with that mindset, because I probably would have met people sooner of, oh, I'm gonna have no friends and just be alone. Which I didn't even last long, because I am a social person, y'all know this, but I really did come in like with that mindset that I wasn't thinking I was gonna have any friends. But I don't think it has to be that way. Like I think, and you'd be surprised, like how much you have in common with people that you wouldn't even expect, because a lot of law school people share your same personality and way, like it's just weird, I don't know, but it's cool too. Like it's like, wow, like okay, so I'm not the only one who in my friend group, I'm the one like people who are just type A and like stuff like that. Super cool, like linking with people like that. Now we're gonna move on. I have some questions on YouTube as well, and they actually got this first, so I feel bad answering their questions last, but I literally forgot. Congratulations. I was wondering if you had any advice on different orgs at law school, like Law Review, Black Law Association, etc. I didn't join any clubs 1 year. I was so focused on just only school and getting good grades, so I did not join anything. But Howard does have a BOLSA to connect with like other BOLSAs, and I've heard that's like a great org to join. And I don't think you can do Law Review at my school if you're a 1L. Did I say law school? I meant Law Review, Law Journal. I think you can do any of those things as a 1L. If orgs are what you want to do, I think for me, I just kind of, after my undergrad experience, I kind of just had beef with working for a school for free. I just feel like student leaders should get paid for like all the work they put in. Not that you would be a leader, but that was just my mindset after undergrad, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I know, like I want to get paid what I want to do for that work I'm putting in. But the student orgs at my school are super active. They're probably going to be active at most schools, so just get involved in like law school and other things. It really is what you make it. So I think it's like however much energy you want to put into it is how hard it is. How is the DC region in terms of living there as a student, like cost, friendliness of the people, and overall quality? I get a lot of questions about how it is living in DC. I'm gonna have vlogs coming up, like DC lifestyle vlogs, so hopefully you'll all get more of a vibe from that. But I love DC. I'm gonna be biased because I'm from here, but cost of living is high here, but it's not like crazy high. But it's high, you know, it's higher than the South, of course. Friendliness of the people, I think people are friendly. In my neighborhood, people are friendly where I live. But you know, people are gonna be different. It's not Southern hospitality here, but I think people can be cordial. People have said DC people are way more like blunt about things, and maybe I don't really notice that though, but I guess I am blunt. Congratulations, thank you. Typically our paper's 5 pages or like 10 to 15 pages. We have like a page maximum. I think the first one we did, we could only write 8 pages, and then they made it 10. And then the next one we did, I think it was like, again, like an 8-page maximum. So you have maximum pages. And I think that is just so that the professor, you know, doesn't have to read too much. And also like, cause I think actual briefs have, you know, pretty strict maximums as well. But it's, yeah, like 8 page. I never really struggled with that though. I was always pretty right on. So I think it's cool. How do you know what and how to outline? Outline stuff that's gonna go on tests. So figure out something on the test, put that in your outline. Are all the finals essays, or is it also multiple choice? I had a mixture of both, and for one class I even had like some multiple choice, some essay, all in one test. But I've had some that are all multiple choice. I've had some that are all essay as well. Can we get a brief description on what each core class is, what you learn, and what it's about? Okay, really quickly. I already explained torts, contracts. You're basically learning like what are the rules of a negotiation. So like, you know, offer, acceptance, and all that, and like all the loopholes of rules and things like that, and like what is a contract. Civil procedure is you learning like how to do the process of a civil lawsuit and like all those we do. Okay, property, you're learning about like the rules of like property and like estates and stuff like that. Really weird stuff though, y'all. Like honestly, I really hope I never have to use that again in my life. Legal writing, you're learning how to write like a lawyer. What other class? Con law, you're learning about how to, if stuff is like legal, if everything, what is constitutional and what is not, and what Congress can and can't do, and what states can and can't do. What else? And then criminal law, you're learning about the crimes and stuff. Sorry, that was just like my birthday. I'm kind of tired. It's late. Sorry, but I hope that helped. Congratulations, thank you. Can you explain the housing situation for Howard students? I think most students live like in apartments around the city, close to the law school, or like in Silver Spring. I think most people live there. But it's not like, like you can just choose wherever you want to live is where you can live. I know people who live all over in the DMV area, so it's just up to you. I kind of just wanted to be closer to you know, certain things than others, so that's how I chose. I would say the big hubs of like Howard Law students is Silver Spring, places close to the law school, and like Noma area, we call it Noma, like north of Massachusetts, like near Gallaudet University. That's where like most people live, I think. What is the best way to study in law school? Do you regret going to your school? I don't regret going to my school, and I think the best way to study is to do it consistently and not like all at once. Like I never really had a time where I was like cramming too much for things. So I think like just my weekly schedule, which I'll get into in another video, really helps. How is it attending Howard Law? It's great, has its pros and cons, but still going. So yeah. Did the school meet or exceed your expectations? I don't know. Did I meet or exceed? I don't have a lot of expectations for things, y'all, so it's pretty good. But I think probably exceeded, because I think I like appreciate going to an HBCU way more than I thought I would. So yeah, especially nowadays. Ooh. Are you looking forward to in-person law classes? If so, how do you plan to adjust? I am not looking forward to in-person. I'm like now so used to doing class from like my home and like not having anything distracting me. So I think that'll be an interesting adjustment for me. I'm just so used to online law school. I can't imagine doing it in person, but I'm gonna have to do that. So how do I plan to adjust? I guess I'm gonna have to really start like managing my time better now, taking into account commutes and like actually have to get dressed in the morning, can't be wearing pajamas all day, stuff like that. And do you have any regrets attending an HBCU after attending a PWI? I have no regrets. I'm so glad I went to an HBCU. I'm very pro HBCU now. I'm like, oh my gosh, like my life wouldn't have been complete if I didn't do this. Like, thank goodness I did this for law school because I didn't do an undergrad. But I think I was meant to go to a PWI undergrad though, and HBCU law school. How is homework? Are you writing papers for grading? Is there a lot of writing? I didn't really have any homework. But I think that's different. Like, I think it depends on like your section and stuff. Some people have like quizzes, a little bit. Actually, oh shoot, no, we did have homework for one. We had homework for property. So the first time I had homework in law school was second semester. Property, we had homework. I'm gonna keep it real. I was not always doing the homework, but I did the stuff that we had to turn in. So we had like homework that we would have to do, and like we had the possibility of getting called on. With like, he would ask the question like, okay, what's the answer to number such and such, and he would call on people. So that stuff I really did not do. I had other stuff to do, so I didn't do that. But I did do, we had to like write reflections. It wasn't anything too deep, I don't think. But some people, their homework will be like a quiz. We had quizzes in property too, but it's not, I feel like that's not normal for people to have homework in law school. I don't know, at least that was the only time I really had to do that. Usually your homework is just reading, to keep up with reading, and have like a brief prepared or whatever. And then you said, are there majors or areas of law that focus the curriculum on? So I don't have a major in law school, it's just general law, but you can start choosing classes once you finish your first year at my school. So you can start choosing classes with like areas that you're more focused into. I'm still not sure on like a specific practice area that I want to go into, so I'm basically going to be focusing on doing bar classes, so classes that are going to be on the bar, so that you know, I can hopefully do that too. Goddamn. So yeah. Oh, what was the best moment of your 1L experience? Being done with it, period. Okay, y'all, so I realized that the last time I went out, I lost my lip gloss. But anyways, I got dressed. I'm gonna show you all what I'm wearing. But I also just got some last minute questions in, and I really want to do my best to answer all the questions. How much downtime did you have? I had downtime, like, because I woke up so early, I was pretty much free after like 6 p.m. So on a good day, I was done at 4 p.m. And on an average day, I was done for the day at like 6 p.m. And on a bad day, I was done as late as like a late evening for me doing still school stuff is like 8 p.m. or like 10. 10 is like usually like when I like need to wrap it up because I like to go to bed by like 10:30 to 11. And then you also asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was it? 10. What made law school so stressful? I think because I just put so much pressure on myself, and I just think that it's all or nothing, which is terrible. Don't be like me. I think it's all or nothing, and I think the grading system makes it stressful, and I think the amount of work and how much we have to learn makes it stressful. Like, you literally probably learn a test worth of material every day, if not like every week, and you have 15 weeks of that, so you just learn a lot of material. It's kind of hard to like ration that and to keep up. Is it going to be in person next year? I think it's like a hybrid situation they have for the 1Ls only, and then we get like a choice. You can choose classes that are online or in person. Oh my god, are you gonna go back? Yes, I'm going back. I made it to Tua. My biggest takeaway, I think my biggest takeaway was that I definitely understand now why everyone would tell me don't go to law school before. I definitely understand that, but yeah. And I guess another biggest, like, I think now I'm just way more of like, the way I like think is a little different. I think I'm way more like, I analyze way more stuff in my everyday life, and I also type so much stuff out in lists now for some reason. Like, even text my friends, I'll say 1 in parentheses, da da da, 2 in parentheses, da, da. Like, I type so much stuff in lists now because of law school, and I'm way more paranoid also. Do you still want to be a lawyer? Yes. Does your social life still exist? Now it is. We back outside. But during law school, I felt like I had basically no social life. How much did you study? I'm gonna do a whole video on that, but I would say like literally all the time. When y'all see the video where I explain how I study, you'll probably think I'm literally not okay in the head. But anywho, this video is probably super long, so if you made it this far, comment down below your favorite color. Okay. It's a bad beach. I just want my nails done, sorry. This top is from Miss Guided. Excuse my messy room right now, but this is the fit. Are like this little cut that I love, and I'm gonna be wearing the heels you see back there.